Welcome to the Dave Show. My name is Dave, and today I'm here to talk about this ND filter set for the DJI Osmo Action 3. That's this camera right here. So if you get this set, you want to make sure you have the right camera to get the right set. Now, they do make lenses, ND filters for different cameras, so you want to make sure that matches up. But now this one here is not just an ND filter set, but this is also a polarizing. So this is a what they call their daytime set. It's the Nano X series. The daytime set, which is ND8, 16, 32, and 64. So for super bright daytime, that's what these are for. But this also has a polarizing lens, which helps you eliminate some of the glare. We'll talk about that. I'll show you more about that in a minute. But now this one has the anti-scratch coating. It's waterproof, multi-layer coating, Ultra HD, super nice and clear. Let's take a closer look inside. Okay, it does come in a nice protective case, which is really nice. And we're going to just open this up here. And taking a closer look at this ND filter set, it is an all aluminum metal construction. Again, the super layers of glass. It's actually a good quality lens system here. Now, this does a couple things. What it does is it actually is going to protect your camera lens like this one does here. This is just a clear lens. And so what we're going to do is unscrew this part here to take it off, and we're going to go ahead and screw one of the ND filters on. You just want to make sure you get your threads lined up appropriately, and then it just threads right on, and give it a nice little snug fit to it like that. But if you notice, the front part still spins, and that's designed that way. It's okay because you have the ND filter, which is the sunglasses for your camera. And then it has the polarizing filter, and when you turn this, that affects the polarizing levels. And I'm going to show you more details outside to show you what that does and how that works, and see if you can see the difference to it. But if you don't know what an ND filter is basically sunglasses for your camera. If you want to keep and maintain the right settings for your video to do the appropriate motion blur and things like that, if it's super bright outside, you may be blowing out your footage. This does is it actually darkens everything up so you can keep those settings that you want. Very nice, very handy. I have these type of filters on most of my cameras when I film outside. Very nice. So let's go ahead and go outside, and I'm gonna show you what each of the different measurements do. Again, the higher the number, the more darker it is. So if it's super bright, and you can adjust your settings, but we're going to go outside and test them out and show you the difference and how the polarizer works as well. Okay, as you can see, everything is blown out. Now I have my camera set at the optimum amount of settings. So I have the shutter speed at double my frame rate. So I'm filming at 30 frames per second. My shutter speed is at 60. This is supposed to give you the best motion blur, more natural. And the ISO setting is down to 100, which is the lowest setting. The lower the ISO, the less noise you have in the footage. But as you can see, it is blown out. Standard lens. It is not usable at all. Now, I have it on manually, so I can manually set this. If I put it on auto, it does fix it. It does make it better, but it bumps up the shutter speed up to like 1600, which is super fast. You're not going to get that correct motion blur. It will work on auto setting, but for this purposes, it's not going to work for me because this is what I want to have it set at. So let's go ahead and start with the ND filter, the 8 with the Polarize, and see what that does for it. Okay, this is the ND8 with the polarizer on it, and you can see it makes a big difference. This is pretty much usable. Now, it is a little bit blown out on the fence area where it's bright, according to my little scope that I am seeing on my end. But I wanted to show you what the polarizer thing does too. So this is the ND8. Now, I'm going to spin the polarizer, and you see my finger. I'm spinning the polarizer. And watch the sky. You see the sky get a little darker, a little bluer. It's doing that. And then if I keep spinning it, it goes back lighter again. So it's a whole circle. It doesn't stop. So you want to get it to where you want, and then stop. Now this is just based on the sky. I'm not looking at reflections in the car or anything like that. You'll definitely see a difference as you spin that little filter. You can see the difference of what you can see or not, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the effects of what it happens. In this case, it affects the sky because that's part of the brightest part of it. So let's go ahead and try the next step up, which is ND16. This is the ND16 with the polarizer. Again, you can see it's gotten much better again. The wall is not too blown out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and spin, and then now you can see the sky change. It gets a little bit darker, and then it goes back to light again. So that's what the polarizing part does of the ND filter. So you don't have to have that on full blast. You can kind of turn it off, and when you need it, you turn it on, but then you have the ND filter. Really cool. Let's go to the next one, which is ND32. Okay, this is the ND32. It did darken up quite a bit. Now, the wall is not blown out anymore, but it is getting a little bit too dark. At this point, I would probably turn up the ISO a little bit. I'd leave the frame rate the same as it is, of course, and the shutter speed is the same. That's the double, the frame rate. But the ISO, you can up it a little bit here, and it would be fine. Otherwise, I probably would use the other one and then adjust it if I needed to on that. But this one you can see is dark, a bit darker than the other one. So the last one is the 64, which might be pretty dark. We'll see. Okay, this is the ND64, and it's definitely way too dark. I would have to adjust the ISO to make it work. But I'm going to go ahead and spin the polarizer. And again, the sky, you can see how it gets dark and then back. Again, the polarizer should be used primarily for reflection type light, like looking into a window or of a car or a window of a store or water, anything that's reflective like that. But this gives you an example of that. But anyways, that's the ND64. That's the darkest that they go in this pack. Probably way too much for me. In this case, I would probably go with the ND32 at the most, and then make adjustments from there, which is not too bad. But that is the ND filters with the polarizing lenses. There you have it, a quick but detailed look at these ND filters with a polarizing lens all built into one. If you are looking for something like this, this one may be the right one for you.